Welcome to Everyone's a Critic Movie Review Podcast. I'm your co-host, Bob Zarrell. With me, as always, is professional film critic Sean Patrick. And joining us this week is our caterer, Zach Covemaker.
What's up?
The Neil Breen of this podcast.
I do what I have to.
Visit us at IHateCritics.net, Everyone's a Critic Podcast.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our handle is CriticsPod. Subscribe, like us there, interact with us there. We're also on YouTube. You can watch our cover art while listening to us. And then your podcatchers, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Alexa, Stitcher, all of them. Subscribe to the show, rate and review the show. It does help us out. We'll read the reviews on the air. And then Patreon, IHateCritics.net/Patreon is the best way to help support the podcast. There's also our merch tab there as well, which someday, when I'm not running around, probably in April when gymnastics is over. Any news? I know you posted something. I didn't really get a chance to look at it about birds of prey bombing or something like that.
Yeah, just this hot take. So I'm not going to call the guy out by name. Just this critic on Twitter was saying, he just said the dumbest thing possible about this movie. He says he was guaranteeing that Birds of Prey is going to bomb because the girls aren't sexy. And I'm like, first of all, it's Harley Quinn. Like, who doesn't? I mean, this is the geek fantasy of all geek fantasies, played by Margot Robbie. What do you mean she's not sexy? But the idea was that he's saying that he was essentially saying that because they're not allowing the women they're not appealing at all to teenage boys and letting the girls be marketed as sexy, that the movie's going to fail like Charlie's Angels did. Which, first of all, yeah, Charlie's Angels failed for a whole lot of reasons. It wasn't because the girls weren't sexy. It was because nobody's interested in that particular property. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that Birds of Prey is going to be a massive hit, but it is the only movie that's coming out that week, and it's been marketed relatively well. But if it fails, it's not going to be because the girls aren't sexy. That's just an idiotic hot take. That is just a supremely stupid way to look at this and judge a box office.
Yeah, like, there's never really been a point, other than, like, those few seconds in, like, Suicide Squad, there's never really been a moment where Harley Quinn's kind of been, like, a sex object anyway. Everyone's really excited for this movie. Like, he's an idiot. He's an idiot, man. Like that's like saying, like, John Wick 4 is gonna fail because he doesn't take off his shirt enough. Like, it's stupid. Yeah. This guy makes no sense.
Well, that's why you have boardroom people. That's how they do things, though. Like, Stallone needs to take his shirt off here. It's not gonna work. You know. I mean, I will disagree, though. They did make Harley Quinn kind of a sex object a little. You know, when she first was created, she wasn't. But a lot of people have been complaining about her being a sex object as of late. It does look like they're toning that back a little bit. I still don't think that's the reason to make this say it's going to fail.
No.
But I don't know. That I just don't like the new costume. I don't know why.
She's just she's too weird looking. Maybe she doesn't look enough like Margot Robbie. I don't know what the guy's problem is. Where this random hot take out of nowhere.
Right. She was like the one character that worked in Suicide Squad. It'll be fine.
Every woman for Halloween dresses up as sexy Harley Quinn. Like, what are you talking about?
Not just Halloween, cosplay. I mean,
right?
Go to a Comic-Con right now, and there's still people dressing up like Harley Quinn. Maybe this new one won't have the same, response, but it could still be more successful than Suicide Squad was, because it wasn't. I guess it was probably successful. The critics didn't love it.
Yeah, but it made over $200 million, I think.
Right, so it made its money.
Just seems like they're trying this time, which I think, like, I appreciate.
Well, they were going to a different audience with Suicide Squad. It definitely wasn't us.
No, it was
the Hot Topic
weird.
Audience.
It was weird. Like, I like that they're actually they're trying it out this time. They're actually, like, kind of letting Margot Robbie, because I think she executive produced this. Like, she actually had, like, a huge part apparently in, like, putting this movie together. Like, I appreciate that they're actually, like, giving them the effort and, like, giving it their all. Like, DC's they're doing pretty well right now.
It says something that it chased every other movie off of its weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else is going to open opposite this movie because no one else in Hollywood wants to be next to it.
And they did. I like that they kind of toned it back too. Like with Suicide Squad, you bring in Will Smith, and they're swinging for the fences here. It's more of just a smaller story. They're releasing it in February. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be fine.
Only 2 weeks away.
Right. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And they also ditched Jared Leto. Since that Joker's not around, since he's gone, like it's gonna have some room to breathe. They're not gonna have that hanging over him, because that was the one thing like everyone kind of took away from Harley Quinn, because like they always had that guy right there, and I'm glad he's gone.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, that's the interesting aspect of this, is what carryover is there, what hangover is there from Joker? And I mean, it's different movies entirely, but are they the same universe?
No,
not
at all.
I can't imagine, but
no way.
Nah, like DC also kind of like recently, not to go like super off the rails, DC recently just kind of like reformatted everything. Like they did this huge crossover on the CW, and they pretty much hit the reset button. Like they even brought in Ezra Miller and stuff like that, and they separated all these different universes. They didn't show where like Joker's at, like where that fits into their whole thing, but pretty much everything else they put together. So like they kind of left that open, so they can pretty much any inconsistencies in that form, they could just be like, oh yeah, remember, we reset everything. What's up?
Right. No, you can finish. I was
just gonna say they kind of like they just gave themselves like an out. So like eventually, maybe if they decide they want to bring in the Joker, I really hope they don't. I don't want the Joaquin Phoenix Joker mixed in there. I love that. I like that movie a lot. I want it to stay at its own thing, but
I think it always will. I think you could see two Jokers simultaneously, two different Batman universes at the same time. I think that's a real possibility, but I don't see them. They'd be stupid. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, I don't think he'd do it unless it was a good script.
No.
So don't sign any contracts, Joaquin.
I don't even want to see a sequel. Like I feel like that movie it did its thing. It can drop the mic and walk out.
I don't think a Todd Phillips Joaquin Phoenix sequel happens unless they think they have something amazing, which in that case I'm willing to give it a shot. Anything else before we move on to this week? Nothing? All right. Zach, you're joining us. It's been a while since you've been on. What have you watched lately?
So I watched The Lighthouse yesterday.
Oh, sorry.
That's Swiss Army Man.
Goddamn farts. Man, that was a weird movie. I loved it. Like I didn't expect there to be as much like poop and farts as there was. Like it wasn't, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of poop, but it was there. It was hanging out. And I've got that history with poop movies now, so I'm in. But yeah, it was nuts. I still don't understand what the hell happened.
Everything happened. No matter how you want to you make up the story the way it happened, and it works.
Okay.
Then change it up, watch it again, and it works.
Okay.
It's a weird movie like that. Have you seen Swiss Army Man?
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite movies.
We should make him watch that one next. Just keep throwing fart movies at him.
I'll happily watch Swiss Army Man.
You've already seen it. Maybe Doolittle next time.
I haven't seen that, but I heard about what went down. Is it like how ridiculous was that? Like the rectal blockage.
He performs a colonoscopy on a dragon.
Oh man,
like that happens.
I don't know why it flopped. That sounds wonderful. That's way better than seeing a mermaid's vagina. I'd rather see him pull a horn out of the dragon's butt.
It was a Scottish bagpipe, to be clear.
That's even better. The funniest of the instruments.
We do have a Lighthouse T-shirt coming soon, eventually, to our merch store.
Oh, is it going to be that Wangus? Is it going to be Defoe?
It's Batman versus Jesus.
Okay.
It's pretty amazing artwork that Cousin Jeff put together. I just have to upload it. That's really all I have to do to it.
I was thinking about you guys yesterday when there was the whole Defoe like naked shooting like light beams out of his eyes moment. I was just like, his Wangus is there. Somewhere in there that Girther's there.
That's a different shirt. That's also coming.
We love you, Willem Dafoe.
He's so great. He's so great.
What else has he seen? Anything?
I rewatched Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is just as good. Like I love me some stupid stoner comedies. I love Kevin Smith. Like I'm in, even though it's pretty much just. I know one person that went in to watch that, and that was their first Jay and Silent Bob movie ever.
Oh, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, he enjoyed it, but I was still just like, dude, you're not getting any of it, because this movie is literally just a sequel to all those other jokes. Like,
it's like a really greatest hits record.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, it's like like Queen's greatest hits, but like dick and fart jokes. It's awesome.
Well, I mean, he could have named it fan service, and it would have worked just fine. But at least he wasn't hiding away from that. I mean, he fully admitted it was fan service.
Oh, yeah.
With Clerks 3 and Mallrats 2 coming, I'm
in. If he wants to just start remaking all that, I'm in. I want Chasing Amy 2, where someone else is going after Amy. Like, I want something, man.
I think in a way this was Chasing Amy 2 and Dogma 2 at the same time. I think that's all you're going to get from those.
Oh, God, I love that. Even that little Matt Damon scene was just so nice. Because everyone forgets about Dogma. Because I mean, it was a Weinstein movie. It's gone, essentially. I have a Korean bootleg copy of it at home. Like, that's the only way I can watch it anymore. It's, God, I love Dogma so goddamn much.
Yeah, in some ways, it might be my favorite one he's done. It's hard to say. I jump around that Chasing Amy, Clerks. They're all, I don't know, it just goes all over the place for me. I can never decide on one.
Rickman gone too soon.
Yeah. Anything else before we move on?
Not really, actually. I haven't been watching a whole lot of other movies, to be honest with you. I've been kind of catching up on TV shows. Everyone's been getting angry about all that because I don't watch a lot of TV anymore.
I never watch any TV.
I don't either.
Well, dude, I got HBO just to watch Watchmen because Lindelof brought that back, and it was really cool, and then I forgot to keep watching it, and everyone's like, it's like the best TV, like it's TV at its finest. I'm just like, yeah, I've seen the first 3 episodes, they were the shit, but you know.
Yeah, but it seems like every show's TV at its finest anymore.
I know. Can we start getting some shitty TV shows, like for like a year? Can everyone just like take a break, just make some like crap so we can get caught up? It's awful, man. Like, I watch all the CW like superhero shit, and they cancel one show, and now they're adding 2 more, and I have to fucking watch Superman and Lois Lane and Green Arrow. Green Arrow's like future daughter or some shit like that. They need to stop.
If only that would be like the Sandler thing where he goes to Netflix and he doesn't come back. Like that's where the DC movies go. They just go to CW and never come back.
Literally, dude, when they did that crossover, because they brought in like Adam West Batman, like they had Burt Ward was in there as old Robin. They had like the animated series Batman. They did all this crap, and like their movies
are all alternate universes.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're all in the multiverse now. They pretty much started off with like a highlight reel of like the Tim Burton Batman universe and all this stuff getting destroyed.
That's why I hate this shit.
Yeah. It's really hard to keep track, and I'm like, I'll start talking about it, and everyone looks at me like I'm a crazy person. I'm just like, okay, I'll go do my nerd coke in the corner.
I mean, I like the characters, or some of them at least, but it's just,
it's hard.
I did watch Batman versus Superman yesterday, just randomly. It was on at the muffler shop I was at, so
nice.
Still like it.
That's a movie.
I thought it worked.
I didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me. I think it's just because I like crappy movies that it's just like there's one scene that always sticks out. It's like probably my favorite superhero moment ever, where like Batman's kicking the shit out of Superman, and his kryptonite stops like working, and he has this like, oh please don't moment where he puts his hands up. Oh, I love it. I love seeing Batman. It's obviously it's like it's earned because it's Superman. He's gonna murder you, but like it's just funny seeing Ben Affleck as Batman going, oh fuck, like cowering a little bit. I love it. It's so good.
I thought it all worked. I mean, the Martha scene's a little cheesy, but other than that, it's a pretty solid. I don't know. I thought the whole thing worked.
Yeah.
I want to see the Snyder cut, like they keep
Doesn't
going
exist.
on about. Apparently,
He just said it does.
Yeah, it exists. They're talking about.
You can't get it.
Yeah.
There's a guy, very very smart man named Dan Olson, who's foldable ideas on YouTube, and he demonstrates exactly why we'll never properly see the Snyder cut.
Well, apparently I think it was someone over at Warner Brothers said that he can release it on like HBO Max if he finishes it or if he wants to finish it. So if he can get the funding, which with all the actors and everyone seems to want to do this, I think eventually, I don't see it happening like next year. I don't see it happening in the next couple years, but if they want to get HBO Max like to keep going where they want it, I could see it happening. I could see them pushing for it.
I can't see it being profitable though. That's the only thing.
It'd be just something to boost subscribers or, pirators, I guess, maybe, but it'll create a buzz.
The Gentleman?
Is that where we want to start?
It's the most successful new movie.
We've got the classic.
I know. I mean, we can start with The Turning if you want. That only made $7 million.
It bombed, didn't it?
I don't know what the budget is, but it only made $7 million.
That's probably. It actually probably only cost about $2. So, yeah. The Turning stars Mackenzie Davis as from Tully as a woman who gets one of those only in the movies jobs where she ends up at a dusty old mansion as a governess. She's going to be the governess for Brooklyn Prince, the young girl from the Florida Project. And her brother is not supposed to be there, but he shows up anyway, and he's played by Finn Wolford from Stranger Things. And she's basically taking care of them, and of course the house is going bump in the night constantly, and she's getting up and investigating and finding nothing and seeing things in mirrors, and things are doing boo and all that kind of nonsense. And basically, this is a remake of or an adaptation of a Henry James novel that no one's read in 50 years. So great on you. Good choice there. Really awesome, timely source material that everyone cares about. Not at all. Not even a little bit. There's no ending in this movie. It doesn't have an ending. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching the movie, and we're approaching like what appears to be the climax of the film. And I happened to look down at my phone for a second. And I then something happened, like a big boo thing happened, and I looked up, and then credits. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. How did I miss what happened? What? And then I was so confused. It reminded me, have you seen remember that movie? There was The Devil's something or other, where there's like, it didn't end. It sent you to their website to watch the ending.
Oh, the Devil Inside. Was that the one where they drowned the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ending of that movie, you had to go to their website to watch the ending of the movie. Like, this one doesn't even do that. Doesn't even have the kindness to do that. You just have to kind of sit there. Now, I could probably puzzle out what it was that happened, but I'm honestly unsure. The movie is so clumsy and so poorly put together that I honestly couldn't. Like, it would be just an entire extrapolation on my part what I think might have happened. So that the movie doesn't make any sense at all, and it has no ending. It doesn't have you cut to a credits where just Mackenzie Davis's character is just dragging her hand along a wall. What the fuck? It's not even what happened. It is bizarre. It is one of the more bizarre endings I've ever seen in a movie because it's not really an ending.
Seems to have pissed people off because this is one of the movies where the critics and the fans disagree or agree. They're both 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
So usually the horror movies, the critics way down here and the audience way up at 80%. This is both saying shit.
There's no villain either. Like, we never really learn what the villain is. Like, there's a ghost demon thing that you kind of see in mirrors occasionally, but you don't really ever get a good sense of what the actual villain is. And of course, this has got that that classic scenario of ghosts that love to possess doors so they can slam them for whatever reason. I'm going to leave this window open and cause the wind to bang it against a wall. I'm a ghost, everybody.
Things that don't even happen when people think they're being haunted in real life.
It's so bad. The kids are like, they're creeps. They are, but they're not really interesting creeps. And the little girl can't leave the grounds, so you start thinking, oh, maybe she's a ghost or something. That doesn't play out. You never see what happens with that. The brother is troubled, but he may have been sexually molested by a worker who was no longer there anymore, but that doesn't go anywhere. Then you got the creepy maid, and she's supposed to have, like, she's so ancient that you think, okay, well, she must be a ghost or something, or she is a demon of some sort because she looks like 1,000 years old. But that doesn't play out into anything. It's just, it goes nowhere. And I can't even imagine what anybody thought about when they were going to go ahead and just release this as it is. Like, because there's no ending, and there are no villains, and there's barely any scares. And this is the guys, naturally, these are the people who wrote The Conjuring, because of course they are.
But at least they made a good movie in The Conjuring.
That's what other people say. Not so much what I say.
One person in the world didn't like that movie. He just happens to be on this podcast. But yeah, it sounds like a bunch of ideas that never played out or finished. So yeah, that's weird. And you got two kids that are pretty successful doing good things, so it looked good in the trailer. But yeah,
Tully, I mean, she's wonderful.
Right.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Didn't finish it. I don't know. When I was in Bourbonnais, which was, 2.5 hours away, Gentleman wasn't even in the theater. Only this was.
Wow.
I mean, it was a Cinemark,
but
it didn't have the Gentleman there. It had this instead.
Weird.
Yeah. So I was like, Gentleman must not be as big as I thought it was. It beat out this, but yeah, I'm really shocked. Especially not so much that it's bad, but that the audience nobody went to, because I thought the trailer was pretty effective. But I don't know.
It looked all right. I mean, I like Finn Wolfhard and I like The Conjuring.
Right.
I wasn't really interested beyond that, but that would have been enough to watch it at home at least. But
to that audience that goes to this movie, I thought it was more effective, but maybe it's not. Clearly it wasn't.
Maybe word got out that there's no ending.
And that definitely explains why the audience didn't like it.
Oh, yeah. Lots of angry people walking out of the screening I was at. They were very annoyed by the movie's over. Like, everybody's looking around going, like, did somebody edit the movie wrong? I said to one of the managers at the theaters, did you guys leave out one of the reels? Just as a joke. He's too young to know what a reel was. So.
Yeah, I mean, but people have that reaction on Blair Witch, but they didn't get it. I don't know. That's sad.
That's why I never started The Sopranos. I heard about there not really being an ending, and I was like, man, I want to watch it. But
that's another one where it takes perspective to decide whether or not there's an ending.
Okay, maybe one day. One day when I have 200 hours.
Anything else in The Turning before we move on?
Not really. This is a bad movie. Now, it's not Doolittle bad. That's going to remain at the top of the bad list, but
more forgettable bad.
I want to see it. I still need to see it, man.
The Gentleman.
The Gentleman stars Matthew McConaughey as a weed dealer living in England. He is the top of his game. He sells more weed than anybody else, and has a very unique business of how he creates his particular product. Charlie Hunnam is his number two man, his consigliere, the guy who's his muscle right behind him. He's trying to sell his business and get out, and that's not easy to do. Henry Golding is a guy who's trying to take him down. And this is Guy Ritchie, of course, directing this, returning to the gangster genre that made him so popular. And this has definitely got a lot of that Guy Ritchie attitude to it. The strong sense of violence, the wonderful twists and turns. We'll get to the other movie in a moment, but he's very clever in this genre. It's almost, he makes a kind of a mystery in the way he creates a movie. He weaves his story in a way like this one starts off in a way like that's how you're starting the movie. Like, you can't even believe it for a moment. Then it kind of dawns on, like, oh, okay, I think I know what happened now. now, but initially you're right off the bat, this movie hits you like a big gut punch right off the bat, and then you're kind of left, are we back in time? But I liked it, though. I liked the way that he set that up and then played it out, and fucking Hugh Grant is amazing in this movie. So charismatic, so weird. I love his energy. He plays a private investigator for a newspaper. Eddie Marzan is the editor who's put him in place to try and take down McConaughey's character by reporting on what he's doing. And he's trying to sell himself to the drug dealers so he can, take their money instead of the newspaper's money. He's just ingenious the way that works out. And Charlie Hunnam is so awesome. He's just got that classic cool guy, quiet, just completely calm, totally chill, and you just know he's about to own Hugh Grant the whole time, and I'm just that is so awesome. I love the way it plays out. I really do. I really enjoyed this. I didn't expect to, because I thought maybe Guy Ritchie was done, with those. He's made so many terrible movies, and Aladdin wasn't terrible, but it was a hired gun kind of thing. He's nothing he seemed to really care about.
He was attached because of his name, really, for that one.
I say this seems like something more really along his line of stuff he used to love to do, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
I love gangster movies, especially his take on it, the British gangster movie where they're so foul mouthed, they're so foul mouthed, they're so just fucking crazy. The how liberal they were with the C word throughout the entire movie, I just appreciate it so much. It just flows out it's just the vernacular. I love how
it's predominant. That's the only thing that Colin Farrell says in the movie, I think.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, that conversation with this one guy where he was upset for being called a black cunt.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh,
brilliant. Yeah, Colin Farrell's amazing.
Oh man, he made the movie. I forgot he was in it too. When his name popped up in the beginning scroll, I got super excited. So I kind of forgot about this movie too, because Guy Ritchie, I grew up watching a lot of his earlier stuff. We'll get to that later. Snatch, all that stuff. Excellent. And I wanted that again, but I didn't think it was going to happen, because he also made King Arthur. Which that just looked like a hot pile of garbage.
Oh, it was. It truly was.
I watched it. I popped into the theater a couple times when I was still working there, and that was playing.
Yeah, turgid.
Yeah, but this movie was wonderful. It's just kind of the twists and turns, and there was this older lady sitting 2 seats away from me who was just completely confused, loudly, vocally, she just didn't know what was going on, especially in that moment in the beginning, which I guess I won't really spoil, but the rest of the time she was just is he dead? What's going on? And I was like, man, I really want to laugh, but her husband's sitting right next to me, so I'm just kind of he looks like an angry dude. I'm good. It was a fun time. Great time.
I didn't get a chance to go see it. I was hopefully going to see it Friday night, but then my wife invited people over. It was fun. They're probably listening. I enjoyed my time with them. Enjoyed it quite a bit, actually.
The whole time he's thinking about his podcast.
Yeah, why are your fingers crossed?
I was not thinking about the podcast. I can assure you that.
He's holding up a dry erase board that says, "Yes, I was."
It's super clever, and really Guy Ritchie's direction is really more confident than he's been in a long time, and more just fun than he's been in a very long time, and the structure is so strong here, and that's really just it's so key. The way he structures this movie, a lot like what he does with Lock, Stock. We'll get to that. He puts together the film in such a way that is very surprising, and he keeps amping up the tension and the humor. The movie has a really really strong sense of humor to it, and it's also always very funny. Hugh Grant, throughout the entire movie, he's narrating the story, essentially telling the story, and telling it to Charlie Hunnam is actually part of the story. So that's part of the excitement and the tension of it. Is like Charlie Hunnam knows all of this stuff already, and he's just sitting there not giving Hugh Grant anything, and Hugh Grant is just being over the top and weird and flirting with Charlie Hunnam. It's just the energy is so weird and exciting and off. I love it.
Oh,
love it.
And he'll like even exaggerate the story to Hunneman, who was there. Like he told this story basically with like McConaughey just going off the rails, shooting a guy in the nuts, blowing these guys away, and telling like this amazing one-liner that I don't remember off right now. And then like Hunneman's just like that didn't happen. That's not his style at all. And what happened, he was just like, yeah, now go fuck yourself. Like it was nothing even close.
Structurally though, this almost narrated film within a film. There's a lot of film within a film here too as well, because essentially Grant is kind of pitching it also like a movie. So he's painting the picture like that, and he's talking about classic film, and that aspect of it is also just another really smart touch, and it's very, very meta in that way.
Well, the critics and the audience both loved this one. Both of them well over 80. You've mentioned that McConaughey's in it, but you haven't really said if he's any good.
Oh, he's great. He's great.
Because the thing about it is that he has the less colorful role as opposed to everybody around him. Now Hunnam's like really quiet, but he's also in that way he's very animated. Just
right.
from not being so animated, he just draws your attention so much. McConaughey doesn't recede into the background or anything. He gets a few really big moments throughout the movie, but he's the less flashy of any of the performances in the movie, because everybody else, like Henry Golding's pretty over the top and pretty agitated throughout, and Eddie Marzan is yelling and screaming, and everybody else is kind of dressed loudly throughout, like Colin Farrell and his crew of parkour boxers.
Oh God, they're wonderful.
They call themselves the Toddlers.
They also rap.
Wonderful.
They go around fighting people with GoPros on their heads, and they film it to rap beats.
Colin Farrell, I love guys who hold so hard to a code of honor, like just living to a code of honor that to the exclusion of anything else. I love that.
I love when Colin Farrell gets like something good. Yeah. Like when he gets like a character like this, when he gets like that Seven Psychopaths type deal, man. I love when Colin Farrell gets like a nice meaty script. Scene. Yeah, oh man.
The deli scene is wonderful.
Well, that seems to be the common thread for all these guys. I mean, Matthew McConaughey, when he has something good, he's great. Charlie Hunnam, and all these guys, Hugh Grant, they miss as much as they hit.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie as well. It's kind of it's cool that it all, like, the perfect storm of all this kind of came together. And
it really gels. It really does. It comes together very, very well. And like I said, I wasn't expecting it, because I was wondering if Guy Ritchie cared anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think this one kind of demonstrates that, he's still in there. Like that guy who we fell in love with, who was so exciting back in 97, still is kind of there.
I guess before we get to Lock, Stock, maybe this is part of the Lock, Stock conversation, but did you forget that you liked him at one point? Because I feel like throughout the podcast we've always kind of ignored him. Whenever Lock, Stock, or Snatch pop up on Flickchart, we tend to vote against it. I've
completely forgotten about it. Yeah. I can't even remember if I like Snatch or not, honestly. Like, I don't remember.
Did you guys like The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Not really.
Really? Yeah, because that's one of those that, like, it really didn't do well, but I loved it a lot, and I was just kind of like, no, I think I'm alone on this one. I'm okay with that.
I loved seeing the poster in this movie.
Yeah. Really, I was so happy with how it was just there, and I'm like, thank you. Someone else remembers that movie. Someone else probably got excited when it was cheap on Vudu. Like, I'm happy.
I mean, I didn't hate the Sherlock movies. I just didn't. They're just not.
I never saw them.
They're over the top, and they're not.
It's also probably gun for hire type thing too.
Yeah,
it wasn't
exactly.
a total. It wasn't his vision per se.
I wanted to watch that, but right around the same time the BBC Sherlock came out, and I really liked that. And it wasn't like I was like, fuck that one. I just kind of was like, I like this one, and the other one hasn't ever really been on Netflix or anywhere where it's like I can get it kind of for free. I don't know.
Do you like the Matthew Vaughn versions of his movie? Guy Ritchie movies?
I didn't care for Layer Cake.
I didn't like Layer Cake either.
I know a lot of people love that movie. I don't get the love for Layer Cake. It didn't really do anything for me. Matthew Vaughn's stuff has not really done much.
It kind of seems like poor man's Guy Ritchie.
Kinda,
even the Kingsman movies are kind of like a...
Oh, yeah. I get that.
So are we ready to move on to...
Sure.
All right, let me log into my iPad here and hit my button if I can find it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event for the linear, legitimate, and universally recognized Undisputed Classic.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah, and this is one of those revelatory moments for me that reminded me about a movie that I've completely forgotten about and forgotten that I really loved. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels has 4 main characters who are criminals for the most part. They're buying their way into an underground poker game that their buddy is really an expert player, and they think they can pull some money out of that. They get set up, they lose all their money, and they've got to figure out a way to get it back and repay now the debt that they now have incurred that could cost them their lives. And the way that he weaves this story is so ridiculously clever and very simple at the same time. Like, it's so smart and so clever and just really exceptionally put together. Such a great sense of humor throughout. Like, he establishes a very lighthearted tone and a very light touch early on, even with all the violence and the cursing and whatnot. This is a very lighthearted movie. Like, it's very nimble. It's got a great pace, and these characters are fun to be around. Jason Statham is very young and very, very funny. Like, he's and the guys he's with are just really compelling guys, and they're kind of different and interesting throughout. And those 4 guys are the core. And then you've got like 3 other aspects of the story. You've got the gangsters who they owe money to. You've got this pot grower that's in there that is it's a very unique creation. Guy Ritchie's definitely definitely familiar with how to grow pot and marijuana in England.
Oh yeah.
There's a level of expertise there that's on display in both of these movies.
Yeah, he's mastered it.
But structurally, like I said, it's just so clever. The one reveal after another that are so organic and so well played that you can't help but admire how simple it is in the end. The way it rolls around, and there's a little bit of luck to it at one point, but it's a luck that makes sense. And I really dig that. But I dig the whole tone of the movie. Like I said, the humor, the lightness of it. It's never dragged down or bogged down by the violence. It's never overly serious. People have compared him a lot to Tarantino because this came after Pulp Fiction. But I don't necessarily think of Pulp Fiction as a gangster movie. This one I definitely see as a gangster movie.
Oh, definitely. I generally don't like movies where everything's connected and coincidences that get you through things. But this one is fun enough that you just kind of take it on. I look at it a different way, I guess, or at least I do. It's a fun movie that's really clever. It's weird seeing Jason Statham not be the main guy the entire time. But that took a little, because it's been since probably the mid 90s or whatever, whenever this came out, since I've seen
97.
it. 97, late 90s. So I don't. It was a lot better than I remember it being, and I remember liking it at the time. I loved this and I loved Snatch, and then it just gradually...
I kept mixing this up with Snatch. I kept waiting for scenes from Snatch to be in this movie.
Sitting there waiting for Brad Pitt. Yeah, it's been easily probably like 10 years since I had seen this, and like I said earlier, I love this like genre and stuff, and this was one of those movies that always got thrown in social circles back in high school and stuff. Like, we'd throw this in there. We'd throw, like, this would go in there with, like, the Boondock Saints and just those dumb... I know. But it'd be like, we'd watch that, Fight Club, just stupid guy shit when you're young. And this one, like... I had a lot of fun going back to it. Like when Sean told me you guys were going to be covering it, because I was really hoping you're covering this or Snatch. Because like, man, I want to fucking talk Guy Ritchie. Because like again, like The Gentleman kind of brought me back into it. Like I did my first line in years, and I was like, man, this is fucking awesome. Like I was like, this is cool. No, it I loved this movie. I forgot how it's pretty much just everyone's got their own thing, but they're also trying to fuck each other over. Like it's just like this giant, super elaborate criminal Venn diagram where they all just kind of at some point meet in the middle, but not in the ways you expect it to. Like they all just kind of like
it's this giant circle of dumb.
Yeah.
It's like a snake eating its own tail. I loved it. I loved that aspect of it. It's it just shows the futility of crime in such a wonderfully brilliant way.
I love dumb criminals. I love a dumb criminal movie, man.
And that ending is absolutely brilliant. It could not have ended better. I just love that he doesn't. This is an end. Like how the turning doesn't end. The ending here is. It doesn't necessarily end either, but you're left going. This is just how this is perfect. How this is how it is right here is just perfect.
They earned it.
It's so fitting for everything that we've seen before, even as it's not necessarily resolved in a very specific way.
Well, and I also love that it's not. I mean, that it is Britain or wherever, and I like that it's a different culture with these movies and. That just kind of make them stand off to the side that, you're not comparing it to, the other gangster movies here. So it gives it a different feel that keeps it fresh. I don't know, at least for me, when I first saw it, I know a lot of movies have been like it since, but at the time.
That's a good way to describe The Gentleman, too, is this feels
right.
Fresh. This feels new. It feels like a take on this genre that is not something we've seen before, which is so rare in this day and age. Like The Gentleman is actually a new movie, a new concept. It's not based off of anything. I should have brought that up. It's not like an existing IP. Right. It's so nice.
It's already made $33 million. I mean, 11 in America, but 22 internationally. So it's doing well, I'd imagine.
And Lock, Stock, granted, it's got a lot of influences. He has definitely got a lot of influences. There is some Tarantino influence in terms of stylistics and so on. There's a lot of different influences. There's a lot of English gangster movies past with like Michael Caine movies from the past that are also playing in here as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure him and Tarantino they definitely clearly share influences as well. I guess the question is, and this is back to The Gentleman, my dad, who never goes to movies, all of a sudden now he's retired, him and his brothers, they end up going to movies all lately, and he's hated everything. He's hated The Irishman, he's hated 1917. He likes, your Die Hard type movies. I don't think he's seen Lock, Stock, or Snatch or anything even like this. This is the one they're trying to see next. Will they like it? I'm trying to get him to go to Knives Out because that's pretty safe. Or Jumanji 2.
Jumanji 2 might be more like
I think that's the best one of all of them. But.
A lot of it depends on how you take the Hugh Grant character.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is a dominant force in this movie.
He's pretty flamboyant. Like, he's pretty, like, rubbing the inside of his thigh the whole time type of dude. Like, it's interesting.
I mean,
that energy is exciting.
Oh, it's fun. It's so much fun because you can see like in his eyes he's having fun playing this.
I even love his accent.
Yeah.
The accent that he chooses is like it's so weird, but at the same time it just fits. It fits this character.
He doesn't take off those fucking sunglasses either. Like the whole time he's wearing these like orange lens sunglasses, just looking like Robert Downey Jr., just having a great time.
Just the way he says Charlie Hunnam's name kept getting a laugh out of me.
I mean, in the trailer, he kind of reminded me of, I don't want to say he reminded me of Pacino, but the over-the-topness that Pacino does. And when it works, it's great. When it doesn't work, you're just like, Jesus Christ, I need to leave. And my dad tends to not like Pacino. He hated The Scent of a Woman as well. So.
I agree with that. Hooah!
Yeah. We didn't watch Cinema Paradiso, so that'll be up next week, maybe. Eventually, when it's free to stream on Amazon Prime.
Right now, you got to buy Cinemax to get in it. I'm just not doing that.
Yeah. It's not that time of year. What time is it? Wow, we're really flying around. Next week, we got Gretel and Hansel on the rhythm section. That's the two new movies coming out. Our classic is...
I gotta say, I love the trailer for Gretel and Hansel. I watched it again recently, and that trailer is very intriguing. It's got a very strong The Witch vibe with a little bit of Ari Aster in it. I really dig it. I'm really interested to see where that's going.
I want it to be good. I have a feel like it's one of those things. Like the trailer's cool, the visuals cool. Like I love the way the house looks and stuff. Like I hope they can pull it off. I really hope they can like get a home run on it. I'm
with you. Where I worry, and it's not for any reason other than the PG-13 rating. Not because I need it to be dirty. But that makes me feel like there's people in the boardroom going, "We need this and this," and that scares me a tad.
That's usually when you know it's neutered, and I'm the same way. I don't like
PG-13.
but that doesn't mean. I mean, it could be great. It could have happened to only not need it. But usually that means there's someone going, "Well, we got to think about the kids. We need to get them to
Yeah.
And
PG-13 is often as much of a marketing ploy as it is anything else.
Yeah. But it does look good. And the rhythm section, I think, looks pretty decent, too. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought Peppermint wasn't going to be that bad.
In fairness, I haven't really watched anything on the rhythm section. I just kind of like the cast. So
yeah, I like Blake Lively. Like, her last couple of movies are really interesting choices. The Shallow and...
that movie with Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, really, the Paul Feig movie was really smart and really fun.
It's The Favor, Simple Favor, or something like that.
Yeah. And those two movies, those are her last two, and she makes interesting choices at the very least. But this is a revenge movie about a mom who loses her family, and so was Peppermint, and it was a bad experience.
I mean, Jennifer Garner makes bad decisions.
Yep.
The bright side, though, is that we get to watch an Abel Ferrara movie, which I know not many people are familiar with Abel Ferrara, but his movies are beloved among a very small niche of film lovers who like his style, and I'm a fan of his style, and I'm interested to see. I've not seen this one before, so
what all has he made?
I couldn't, off the top of my head, I couldn't say, but
gotcha.
It's been a while. It was one of my film school things I did about 20 years ago.
Oh, I getcha.
But yeah, that is available on Amazon. Damn, I typed his name in wrong because nothing popped up. Sorry, I was going to look up Abel Ferrara movies, but
ABELFE.
I fat fingered it and it gave me apparently IMDb doesn't even go to that on when you get it close.
Just takes you to Ford v Ferrari.
Yobel Farrell. I know I did spell it right and it still didn't pop his name up. What the hell's going on with IMDb?
He's getting snubbed on IMDb. It's shitty, man.
Anyway, and then 1990, obviously, Cinema Paradiso. Flashback, Heart Condition, Men Don't Leave, and Stella. Is that right?
Yeah, Denzel Washington plays a ghost in Heart Condition.
Ooh.
A ghost who is haunting Bob Hoskins.
Gotcha.
I believe Bob Hoskins gets his heart in a heart transplant, and Denzel's ghost follows him along and tries to improve his life, I guess.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird way to look at Denzel. You don't look at Denzel in a comedy.
He's not Ghost Dad. You can't be doing this.
Then, just Men Don't Leave is supposed to be one of those just soporific, sad movies.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I know nothing about it, just the name. I'm good.
Flashback is, I believe it's straight-laced Kiefer Sutherland as an FBI agent, and Dennis Hopper is this wacky hippie. He's got to take him across country to testify in a
I'm in.
trial.
I'm in. This sounds hilarious.
He's going to loosen him up with some acid and some 60s, man.
Hell yeah, man. He's going to go defuse a bomb. mean, Jack Bauer all stoned and shit. It's gonna be awesome, man.
So Abel Ferrara's first movie is The Driller Killer.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. He's known for his pretty severe violence.
He directed 2 episodes of Miami Vice. He's the one who introduced us to Harvey Keitel's penis in A Bad Lieutenant.
That's the one I was trying to think
Gotcha.
of. Yeah.
King of New York, Body Snatchers, Dangerous Game. That's not what I think it is it? The Dangerous Game, is that?
Well,
Yeah,
I like
Harvey
Bad
Keitel,
Lieutenant.
Madonna.
So
Huh?
Yeah.
I like Bad Lieutenant.
Yeah.
I even like the
Sequel.
sequel. The
I love
Nicolas
that
Cage
sequel.
one.
That is really good.
I bought that when Blockbuster was going under. I bought it for like $1. I bought that and the Beaver, and I was like, "Hell yeah, tonight's gonna be the shit." And the Beaver was awful, and I was like, "Man, I don't want to watch this Nicolas Cage movie now, man. That shit was awesome."
That was really,
yeah,
really
especially
exciting.
the thing with the lizard.
Oh man!
Oh, it's so
Nicolas
good.
Cage just being as crazy as possible. That movie is fantastic.
That's another guy that I love when he gets it right. Like when it all, like when the moon, the stars and moon, everything aligns perfectly. We get a good Nicolas Cage time.
It's like Mandy as a cop movie.
Although some of the ones where it appears like he doesn't get it right, that no one ever sees, when you go and watch him, you're like, holy shit, these are amazing. Like Mom and Dad and what was that one about the guy with the
One Man Army?
One Man Army. This is amazing.
Oh, was that the one where he's the arms dealer?
No,
Is
that's the Lord of War.
Okay, gotcha.
No, One Man Army. He's a guy based off of a true story. A guy who went to what was it? Was it Iraq or he went to Afghanistan to try and kill Osama bin Laden on his own.
Oh, was that the one with Russell Brand? Was
As
Russell
Jesus.
Brand? Yeah, okay.
Right? He played Jesus, didn't he?
I think so.
I remember when like the trailer and everything came out about it. I got really excited, and then I didn't hear anything else about it, so I never got around to it. I need to do it because I went back not too long ago and rewatched Drive Angry, and I forgot. I love that movie. It's such a great time.
Hated it.
At one point, One Man Army, he decides to cut a hang glider in half, thinking he can just put it together and use it.
Oh, hell yeah.
By the end of the movie, they start making the movie.
Okay.
It's great. If you haven't seen One Man Army, go see it right away.
Okay.
Or
I
Army
got-
of One. Army of One is what it is.
That's on my
shout
list.
out to another podcast. Nathan Rabin, the writer's got a podcast now that is Travolta Cage, where they're comparing the movies of John Travolta and Nicolas Cage.
Oh, God.
One by one throughout their career. It's really interesting.
Did they start off with Face Off, or are they
No,
working
they started,
up to Face Off?
They're going chronologically, so
Okay.
they started with like Carrie and Cage's first movie.
Oh, hell yeah. That sounds awesome. I might check that out.
I think he gives Travolta too much credit, though. Because Travolta's not as weird and cool as Cage is. I mean, he's fucked up, but usually in a bad way.
Yeah. Like, he's fucked up, like in his personal life, really. Like, his I guess I shouldn't say that too loud on a podcast. They might come after us. But, like Nicolas Cage doesn't have as many, like, massage mishaps or anything like that. Which is good. But
he's a weird fucker, too.
Yeah.
I mean, when we went to
yeah.
Mandy, he came out and they did the interview, and it was just like, oh, he's really doing this. It's like dressed like Elvis, practically.
Yeah, it was messed up.
But yeah, that is our show. Before we get to Flick Chart, I do want to thank our Patreon supporters for supporting the show at the character actor level. It is Jason Bryant. At the cater service level is Zach Codemaker right here in the studio.
damn right.
The character actor level, Christina Cato, Josh and Beth Paul, and Cousin Jeff. And then our our special effects level, Corey Finneran. If you want to be a Patreon supporter, head over to ihatecritics.net/Patreon to help us out with the podcast. I don't know. It's expensive to do this, so anything you can give really does help the show out. And then there's also the merch tab at ihatecritics.net if you want to help support the podcast. And subscribe wherever you listen to us. Rate and review the show. We'll read your reviews on the air. Are you ready for Flick Chart?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Jumanji 95, Clear and Present Danger.
Jumanji.
Clear and present danger.
Jumanji, I hate Clear and Present Danger. Ladies' Man, Harry Potter, and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Harry Potter.
Ladies, man, that's my least favorite Harry Potter. And that's the SNL Ladies Man, right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
the movie they made out
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. There we go.
I was going to say Ladies Man just to be a dick.
Hey, man,
But we'll let Harry Potter win because I'm sure it deserves to.
as a guy who grew up reading those books, that movie got it all wrong. I know there's people out there that hate me for that shit, but they cut out a lot of stuff. And I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy that's like, oh no, they changed this shit in Chamber of Secrets. I don't fucking care. But that movie, that was like the coolest book. They neutered it.
I had to watch all those movies in a week, and it just exhausted me.
I don't blame you.
The Dark Knight, We Bought a Zoo.
The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
I like We Bought a Zoo.
It's just a terrible title.
Yeah.
It really is.
I heard it was heartwarming, but I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 or War of the Worlds?
With Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise, yeah.
Harry Potter.
Which Harry Potter is this?
Deathly Hallows Part 1.
It's the road trip one.
Huh. I'm gonna go War of the Worlds. I think that
You
movie's
guys
underrated.
need to quit making me pick. One, I could give two shits about either one of these movies. I'll just assume Harry Potter is better. I mean, I've seen them both. I just don't remember either one. Coming to America, Shanghai Nights.
Coming to America.
Coming to America.
By far. Gone Girl, Austin Powers,
Gone
and
Girl.
Golden Member.
Yeah, Gone Girl. I do like Gold Member, I'll say, like, guilty pleasure, but no, Gone Girl's Gone Girl.
About a Boy, No Country for Old Men.
Ooh, wow.
No Country for Old Men.
Damn. Yeah, I gotta pick No Country, but I love About a Boy.
Yeah, I'm with you. Finding Nemo, What About Bob?
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo.
Agreed. The Deer Hunter, Asterix and Cleopatra.
Never heard of it.
The Deer Hunter versus the Fountain.
Oh, shit. I don't know. I gotta watch The Deer Hunter. It's been a long time.
I'll say Deer Hunter just because I think that's the only one I've seen.
I like The Deer Hunter a lot. The first time I watched it was so amazing. It's just hard to go back and watch it because that wedding scene is like first
It's
hour of that movie.
Ever.
And nothing really comes of it other than it's just a wedding. Like
Yeah.
it's literally like they taped a wedding and drank Rolling Rock. That's about it.
The Fountain is an incredibly disappointing movie. At the same time, it's so incredibly ambitious that I have this long-standing admiration for it, even if it is the invention of my least favorite version of Hugh Jackman, which is the teary-eyed Hugh Jackman, which he was for quite some time. It's always just tears just welling up constantly. God.
You got Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, Teary-Eyed Hugh Jackman, and Song and Dance Hugh Jackman.
Which one do I like? Jesus. Shit.
I mean, the Deer Hunter won, so if you
Yeah.
don't want to choose, you
Oh,
don't
okay.
have to.
Good.
SWAT, Scarface.
SWAT. just as a middle finger to Scarface.
I'll go Scarface just as a middle finger to SWAT. But I will go Scarface.
I'll go Scarface just because it's supposed to be good. At some point, we need to make it a classic and watch it again. Oh, this will be fun.
I'm afraid to rewatch it. I have a feeling I might
'Cause it's
not.
bad.
I have a feeling I might not like. I haven't seen it since.
I never liked it. When I was going through all those movies, and when I watched Scarface, I was like, I don't get it. I get kind of, people with the posters on the wall why they like it, but I don't.
so they can demonstrate that they have herpes.
But I mean, critics tend to like it. It tends to be a well-reviewed movie, so I don't. It just seems like kind of the beginning of that Pacino over the top.
Yeah, it just seems like a parody to me.
But Breakfast at Tiffany's, Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, a Freaky Friday for its lack of racism.
I'll go Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday is not horrible.
It's
Not
not.
great. It's definitely forgettable, but it's.
It's not as racist as Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is all I remember is the racism.
Unforgiven, Ratatouille.
Damn. Damn. I love Ratatouille.
Two movies you never thought you'd compare.
No.
I'm gonna go Unforgiven, but I haven't seen Ratatouille in a minute.
I love Ratatouille.
We've been actually talking about it at home a lot since we have Disney Plus. Like, I really want to watch it, but every time we go to watch it, we're just like, fuck it, we watch something different. Like, I'll watch the Patton Oswalt rat movie some other day. Like, I not to put it down or anything. It's just, there's other flashier shit on there.
If you ever get a chance, listen to Patton Oswalt tell the story about how Ratatouille ruined his Halloween.
Okay.
It's wonderful. It's a great story. I'll go Unforgiven, even though I love Ratatouille.
I'll go Unforgiven too. Space Jam, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Space Jam.
It's Space Jam.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam, my friend.
Oh,
Poor
Space
Josh.
Jams make me sad.
I know.
Michael Jordan's still around.
I know, but
Do you think he's going to show up? Do you think they might? I know Michael Jordan hates LeBron, but do you think he might?
Hate LeBron.
I think
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I thought he was coming out like because he doesn't want to be like compared or whatever, and
Well,
he's just kind of like
right.
up on his peak. So I've always read that he's
Jordan just knows he's the best, and he's not afraid to say it. And
Amen.
LeBron and Kobe were more. We started this podcast like maybe an hour after it got reported Kobe died, so that's part of why we're talking about this that much. And but yeah, Jordan's just super competitive, and I don't think he hates anybody per se, but.
But do you guys think he might make an appearance? Maybe he'll pop up at the end with Bill Murray.
I doubt it. Especially,
I think you're more likely to see Bill Murray.
I'm in.
which I don't think you'll see that either.
Newman from Seinfeld shows up.
That might happen.
Yeah, I'm in.
Bugs Bunny doesn't show up. What? How?
That would be crazy. Bugs Bunny gets killed in the first 5 minutes. He gets crushed into a basketball and sent into slavery or whatever was going on in the first Space Jam.
I know we're not supposed to do this because it dates the show, but Kobe Bryant died on the same day we're recording this, and that's why it's kind of a bummer because he and LeBron were just talking yesterday, and LeBron's remaking Space Jam.
Mad Max Fury Road, The Terminal.
Mad Max Fury Road, fuck the terminal.
Indeed, fuck the terminal.
Eating ketchup and shit, like it's cool. Fuck him. Nah, I don't like that movie. Movie's bad.
Constantine, Cannonball Run 2.
Constantine, yeah.
White Men Can't Jump, Father of the Bride.
White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah.
Starsky and Hutch, Donnie Brasco.
Starsky and Hutch.
I do have a soft spot for Starsky and Hutch. That movie's weirdly funny.
Yeah, it's like that FX middle of a Saturday afternoon type of movie. It's perfect.
It's like one of those I'm almost ashamed of, but I don't turn it off.
Is that your picking then?
Yeah.
I'll go Donnie Brasco just because it's easy. But also a movie I haven't watched in a long time. It's possible it doesn't hold up.
I mean, Donnie Brasco can be brilliant. It's been a long time since I've
Right.
watched it.
It could also be one of those movies you rewatch, you're like, oh my god, this sucks. The Constant Gardener, The Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank.
Oh, it's Constant Gardener for me. I hate Shawshank.
The Constant Gardener, I don't hate Shawshank, but people overrate that movie.
Amen.
Fantastic Mr. Fox, 28 Days.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
28 Days. I find Fantastic Mr. Fox to be insufferable.
Oh,
I like them both kind of the same. I'll go 28 Days. It's because humans are in it.
what'd you think of Isle of Dogs? Did you like that at all?
Not really.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, but it's so different. It's not something I could watch like every day, but I was happy I saw it.
Jason Bourne, SWAT.
Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne.
Brave, Total Recall.
Brave.
I actually haven't seen Brave, so
Really? Brave's really good.
three-titted girl. Brave's another one of those that we talk about a lot, like when we're scrolling through Disney Plus. Like Brave and Ratatouille get talked about a lot, but we never seem to pull the trigger.
I actually never saw Brave either, so let's just refresh that one. It's not fair to pick Total Recall based on Ronin, Highlander.
Ronin.
Highlander.
I'll go Ronin, even though it's the first movie I ever went to the bathroom during. I don't know why I remember that. But every other movie, I was able to hold it till the end. That one, I was like, can't do it. Gotta go. Man of Steel, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Can't wait to watch that later this year. Mm-hmm. Garbage Pail Kids movie, Bringing Out the Dead.
Bringing Out the Dead.
I don't think I've seen either.
Bringing Out the Dead. Deadpool, The Time Machine.
Deadpool. You haven't seen the Garbage Pail Kids?
I haven't. I don't
It's
know why.
It's really terrible.
I watched.
Like, it's really.
You're aware of his age, right?
Well, what's I'm always talking about Gremlins 2. Like I love that, like I love that kind of genre of just shitty movie.
Your
Like
next homework is find the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
I'm in. I'm down.
This will be more of a challenge than Sallow.
Oh, I'm in. I'm in, man. I'll watch Ghoulies right after. It'll be a good ass time. I love that shit. Like I said, like Gremlins 2, I like unironically think that's one of my top 10. It's in there in my top 10. I love Gremlins 2. It is such a weird movie.
Closer, West Side Story.
Closer.
West Side Story.
I'll go Closer. All right, last one from Russia with Love, Bean.
They're basically the same movie.
Yeah.